Good afternoon, and welcome to this month's webinar discussing the basics of the grain handling standards requirements for preventative maintenance. This year's wheat harvest is gearing up to look like an excellent crop. However, many of our customers and those in the commodity storage business are fighting the issue of storage space. Many people are working diligently to empty their elevators and bins now, when right now is traditionally the time pre-harvest inspections are being conducted. This presents an entirely different set of challenges to meet, and creating the time for your staff to conduct those crucial inspections is imperative. Pre-harvest inspections are much more than an OSHA requirement. As a matter of fact, OSHA does not even state that you must do a pre-harvest inspection. OSHA regulations simply require that procedures be established for inspection, lubrication, and other appropriate maintenance, as well as prompt correction of overheated bearings and misaligned belts. It has been an industry given that pre-harvest inspections be conducted. We, as an industry, decided it was important to go through our facilities before the extra long harvest hours, which adds stress to our equipment and our people, in order to ensure our equipment is in full operating condition. This makes sense from a financial standpoint as well as a safety standpoint. If equipment is operating as it should, we can continue to take grain and not turn away customers because of a breakdown. We also have less to worry about in terms of putting employees at risk after working those long hours. If the equipment continues to run as it should, there is much less of a chance that an employee taking a safety shortcut to get up and running again that could in turn get them hurt. Preventative maintenance is nothing more than keeping equipment in good repair and preventing breakdowns. Over the years, many companies have established that a pre-harvest inspection is necessary to do, mainly because years ago it was determined 2 to 3 times a year was adequate for routine inspections. In many cases, this is not near enough. Many facilities now move more grain and turn their elevators and storage facilities much more than once per harvest, as they did in previous decades. Because of this, perhaps a pre-harvest inspection is not near frequent enough for many grain handling facilities. These inspections need to be clearly established, and a documented check sheet should be utilized. Ideally, a form from the manufacturer of what to be inspecting is best, but industry-created forms that have been established by prior operating records will suffice. Legs, drags, augers, distributors, receiving pits, grain dryers, dust collection equipment, and any other grain stream processing equipment all must be inspected on a routine basis that has been established by your company. Procedures must also be established for routine maintenance, as well as the previously mentioned inspections. Lubrication is a great example of routine maintenance that many people refer to when establishing this routine. One method to consider in your facilities is an hour meter that shows how many hours a particular piece of equipment has been running, and to establish lubrication frequencies based on hours rather than a vague time frame that can vary on operation from year to year. As many of you know, over-lubrication can prove to be just as detrimental as under-lubrication. The key here is to not forget other equipment in your routine schedule, such as gearboxes, changing out V-belts rather than just when they break, as well as many other items. Of course, what kind of safety director would we be if we don't discuss the most important safety policy or program in your entire safety culture? That's lockout tagout. When doing these inspections and routine maintenance, it is imperative that you remember to lock and tag out equipment you are inspecting, maintaining, or repairing. One item we can't stress enough in terms of preventive maintenance is documentation of your inspections. Do not forget to document your inspections as well as your routine maintenance. Inspection documentation is important for many different reasons. First of all, it ensures that you have inspected each part of your equipment that is necessary to ensure that it continues to operate safely and efficiently. The documentation is not overly difficult either. The necessary items on the inspection and lubrications should simply list the date, the name of the person doing the inspections, and some sort of identifier of the equipment that is being inspected or maintained. That can be a name, a serial number, or many other forms of identification. The other reason that documentation is important is so that there is a history to demonstrate what has been adequate to keep breakdowns to an absolute minimum or best yet non-existent. Many of us have been told in the past that, and I quote, "If you didn't document it, then it never happened." While this is an extreme rationale, the statement was simply intended to stress the importance of the documentation. When developing an OSHA-required maintenance schedule, it's important to remember that it is extremely simple. All it really needs to state is the equipment that you're going to maintain, the person that's responsible for maintaining the equipment, the frequency of when the maintenance should occur, and a description of how to maintain it. Essentially, you're writing an SOP for the maintenance of the equipment. Nearly all newer equipment comes with these written procedures already established in your owner's manuals. It's important that you refer to those, determine if they are adequate, and if not, make them even more specific to your location, your facility, and your equipment. Ultimately, what we're all after in terms of preventative maintenance is to prevent a bad thing from occurring. Failing to maintain facilities can range in results from small breakdowns or mechanical failures all the way through outside leg explosions. They could result in steel bin failures, or worse yet, concrete house explosions. These are the events that are oftentimes preventable with a good preventative maintenance program. I would like to take this opportunity to once again thank all of you for attending this month's webinar over preventive maintenance, and again remind you that if at any point in time you need any assistance in terms of developing your schedule or just revamping or understanding it a little bit better, please contact your safety director from KFSA or Ag Services LLC, and we'll be glad to assist you in doing so.